So we have made it to the ending of Never Let Me Go. And I just want to ask you a few things. Was it what you expected? Do you think this would be considered sci-fi? What are your thoughts? Um, it's interesting because these children were groomed clones from the day they were conceived to provide donations and then to die. Really, that is their purpose in life. But in between, they had a life, complete with memories and experiences. And I initially read this final tree scene as basically the garbage that we gather in our lives, not letting the wind push us to wherever we should be. But that's not how Kathy saw it. And I kind of add this quote here at the bottom. I half closed my eyes and imagined this was the spot where everything I'd ever lost ever since my childhood had washed up. And now I was standing in front of it. So, you know, these clones have feelings, emotions, and memories. But what makes them less human than us? Kathy only wanted to return to better times, and humans also find themselves reminiscing. And I think that's why I talked about this pastoral tone, the very nostalgic remembrance of your childhood. And it's so important because it influences really deep into the history of literature. We talk about pastoral with poetry, especially with American literature. Um, and now we kind of see Kathy showing this cold and unaffected exterior from the first page, and it doesn't even end until the final pages. She talks about how she hears of Hailsham closing and ex-Hailsham students just trying to find people later in life. But at the end, she respects and really longs for those memories. Um, Kathy really resembles the new humanity. What I mean by that is a person who is willing to do whatever they have to do in order to live how they want to live. Her goal is really just to have this quieter life. Um, so I want you to think back a little bit. When we read the excerpt from Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, I think it's debatable and surprising for us to admit that androids are human. We talked about androids way back when, um, but all they're asking here is to accept that humans are human and society doesn't, right? Um, so I'm going to kind of go back to our notes on Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And we can see we talked about these androids. Here we go. This is a slide I'm looking for. So we have Rick Deckard, a bounty hunter, and he's retiring these androids, right? But in this picture here, you can't even tell who is who. Now, if you're interested in more on Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep and you really like that, the movie Blade Runner is based off of the book. And I think you would really like that movie. It's really interesting. But what I'm trying to say is basically, in the end of Never Let Me Go, they're cool with organs and longer lives as long as they don't think it's too hard about where they came from. These people are willing to accept these donations. Um, and you can kind of draw some parallels on your own life and how, let's take this for example. Most of the clothing that we buy and are wearing right now is made in horrible, mortifying conditions in China, India, Mexico, by people and sometimes even children with no other options. Do we think about that? No. Do we still buy the shirt? Yes. This is the reason we can get clones so cheaply. But instead of agreeing to this inhumane process, we're paying for more clothing. Um, and it's kind of interesting to see those types of parallels. Um, but really, I just think it's something we should reflect on. And I think this book has a lot of messages for us that we should be thinking about. And I'm curious to see what you thought.